This week's mental health tips are about how mental illness affects sibling relationships. Hi, I'm Angela. I have a husband with bipolar 2 disorder, my kids have ADHD, and I myself have struggled with depression. You're not alone. The last 2 weeks, we've talked about how mental illness affects marriage, so if you missed those 2 videos, be sure to check them out. I'm excited to keep filming outdoors so that you can keep improving your family relationships, especially while we're spending so much time together during the pandemic. Mental illness has a deep impact on families, including sibling relationships. The National Alliance on Mental Illness writes that the disruptive force of mental illness is often referred to as a family burden. I know that many of you can relate to this. This burden has a subjective component, which includes emotional consequences of the mental illness on other family members, and an objective component, which consists of their everyday problems. At the core of the subjective burden is a powerful grieving process. Family members may mourn for the relative that they knew before the onset of the illness, for the anguish of their family situation, and just for their own losses. Often, this dynamic causes unbalanced relationships. As a sibling, you can feel caught up in this whole tsunami of grief and unpredictable moods, often anger, confusion, and despair. The result can be a lot of resentment, guilt, and even shame. This happens a lot more often when one child is given more attention due to their need, and it can feel like favoritism to the other siblings. As a child, you just have less coping skills than an adult, and you're more vulnerable to trauma. One woman I spoke to said that she tried to disappear within her family unit as a result of her sibling's mental illness. She didn't want to cause any more problems or any more work for her parents who were so taxed by caring for the other children. So how can we mitigate these challenges? Although we don't have control over our circumstances, we do have the choice on how to respond to them. We can choose to be proactive and come together as a unit. Coming alongside a family member and giving voice to the needs rather than assuming the need is only in the one struggling with a mental illness. This can really bring a balanced approach that conceptualizes the situation holistically instead of blaming everything on one individual. A team perspective can eliminate isolating it to one person and others accommodating them. Counselor Debbie Abrahamson says that she's seen families refer to themselves as Team Smith, including their last names. So the client who's struggling can kind of melt into this secure environment where they feel like they're fighting this together. And as a result, the entire scenario transformed. Blame was no longer communicated, and they were kind of bonded together to fight the illness rather than this one person being pointed out as the problem. This perspective shifted and increased unity and transparency within the family. Okay, let's remember what great encouragement that we have from the scriptures, from Paul in Colossians 3. Bear with one another and forgive one another if any of you has a grievance against someone. Forgive as the Lord forgave you. And over all these virtues, put on love, which binds them together in perfect unity. How has mental illness affected your sibling relationships? Comment below. I'd love to hear from you. And don't miss out on next week's video, How Mental Illness Affects Friendships. This is going to be a great episode. A big thank you to Counselor Debbie Abrahamson for consulting with me on this video, and to His Heart Foundation for supporting this channel. If you want more information for you and those you love on mental health, go to mentalhealth.academy today.